We are back with Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congresswoman from the state of Georgia. We've been talking about the fact she's been banned from Twitter this week because of the unacceptable act of sharing inconvenient data from the CDC. I don't think that's going to stop her from speaking her mind. We've kind of come to know that about her. But of course, it also means there are more opportunities for her opponents to misrepresent her positions. Congresswoman, welcome back. We are so glad that you were willing to stick around. What are some of the things that you have personally experienced that are most outrageous, things the press has said about you and have attacked you for? Because I know there are quite a few.
Oh, wow. Gosh, that's quite a list. Well, it's weekly. Every single week it's something new. But earlier this year, there were some very outrageous things that they had said about me, quoting me, saying that I had said things that I had never said, terrible attacks, especially about silly things about something called Jewish space lasers. That was a term I had never used in my life, but someone wrote an article and then they copied it and pasted it and put it all across the media. That really hurt my feelings because I'm a Christian and I would never say anything against any group of people, especially Israel. I would never do that. And, or any kind of race. And then there were other things like some of my colleagues, my Democrat colleagues, told lies about me. Cori Bush from Missouri said that I attacked her in the hallway when indeed I didn't. As a matter of fact, I had it on Facebook Live that she was the one that attacked me and was screaming at me in the tunnel under the Capitol. And I had to put that video out to prove it, but they didn't retract their stories. There's been story after story. They've created this character of me that they want to sell every single day and night on their networks that is not true. And it's been very unfair. And it's basically impossible as a public figure to fight back against it. Because when you become a public figure, as you know, I'm sure, you lose a lot of rights. I was even sued by a PAC, a leftist PAC called Midas Touch, because I blocked them on my personal Twitter account, the one that I got permanently banned on. But I had blocked them because they had been saying such nasty things to me on Twitter. And as a woman, and a mom and a wife, I think I should have the right to block people that I feel threatened by. But they sued me. And so I didn't win that battle because I'm a public figure. So you see, if you're a conservative woman, if you're unapologetic, if you're pro-life, and I believe in life completely, I'm completely against abortion and want to see it end. If you defend our freedoms and stand up to the powers in Washington and you don't join the clubs that exist there, then you become the most hated person in Washington, and the entire establishment, the corporate media, will come after you. But I'm very grounded in who I am, and I believe in this fight. And I'm so grateful to talk to regular people all the time, and I know what's important. That's why I continue.
You seem to have a real equilibrium about you. I've never seen you when you looked flustered or when you looked scared or when you seemed to be intimidated by the things that were being thrown at you. And I think it's one of the reasons that you have become a real threat to some of the people on the far left. Let's discuss what has been a big story this week. The Democrats have jumped all over January 6th, that it was just a horrific event. Kamala Harris said it was as bad as Pearl Harbor, the Civil War, 9/11. I mean, this is crazy talk. The only person who died at the Capitol that day was Ashley Babbitt, an Air Force veteran who was unarmed, and she was shot by a Capitol police officer for reasons we've never really understood. And, there have been these lies told that there was an armed insurrection. Congresswoman, nobody's been charged with an insurrection or terrorism. There was no act of insurrection that day. It was a protest, admittedly, that got out of hand. How do we respond to this nonsense?
Well, we have to stand up against the lies, and thank you for pointing that out. It's been unbelievable to me. That was my 4th day on the job, and I couldn't believe it. When it happened, I was shocked. I've never been in any kind of political violence. I've never been involved in violence, period. And, there's been a lot of stories come out, and the January 6th committee has a narrative they want to tell. They want to say it was an insurrection, that President Trump planned it with me and other members of Congress and outside organizers. And this is absolute falsehood. there's a lot that needs to be discovered about January 6th. We need those videos released, 14,000 hours or more of videos released that American taxpayers pay for and deserve to see the truth. We also have questions of who is Ray Epps? Who was the man up on the scaffolding commanding people to go into the Capitol? Who were these other bad actors that were cutting down the fencing and preparing the way to send people into the Capitol? There were certainly people there that seemed to have a plan, but it had nothing to do with President Trump or myself or any Republican or any type of person that had gotten the rally permit in their name. But this isn't what the Democrats want. They want a story that they can sell to the public so that they can affect the elections in 2022. And at the same time, they're pushing legislation that would really destroy our election integrity and take away voter ID.
Congresswoman, we've only got 30 seconds, so I've got to ask a question. I hope we can get it in quickly. And that's, you went to see some of the people that have been held in custody since the January 6th riots. You found the conditions they were in deplorable. You had to force your way in to see them.
Yes, sir. And thank you for bringing that up. And I'd love to come back and talk with you and your audience about that. Green.house.gov. Green has an E on the end. The jail report is there. Anyone can read it. It's very alarming. But these people are truly being held and treated like political prisoners. We need to pray for them and put pressure on the Department of Justice and the prisons they're being held in, that they need to be treated equally and due process rights should be upheld.
Good reason for you to come back when there's not snow and ice all over the roads and we can get you here to our studio. Thank you so much for joining us. What a pleasure to visit with you. And I just want to remind our audience that if you want to learn more about the Congresswoman and what's on her mind, here's how to do it. Go to Huckabee.tv. There you will find links to her website and the social media pages where she hasn't been banned. And there's still some of those.